Okay, so of course you all know Elvis made the movie Follow That Dream in 1961, the summer. It was late July, early August. He was here in the building for about a week, but he was in the county and the area filming for about 6 weeks. And so he stayed over at Port Paradise Hotel, which is a Crystal River, and they're in the process of demolishing it and building a Marriott there. Yeah, and of course the suite of rooms that he stayed in have not been there for a number of years. They used to say that he stayed in room 101 more recently, but that's not really factual. They had, right off of the office, they had a suite of 4 or 5 rooms, and that's where he stayed. They were connecting rooms, and he stayed in those suites with, you know, his entourage, right? Yeah. And so one of the early scenes coming across the bridge, that bridge was down in Clearwater. That was Courtney Campbell Causeway. Yep. Yep. And then a second early scene was they stopped at an outhouse, and the boys got out to use the restroom, and let's see, was a little building that they had put there on Kings Bay Drive where there's a little bridge. Today there's a large house there now. And then there was the gangster scene, well, not the actual gangster scene, but the gambling scene. The gambling scene. That was done in the Crystal River Today Middle School gymnasium. It was a high school at the time. And you know, they just boxed it out and made it look like a, you know, nondescript space that they were gambling in that space. And then up in English Yankeetown, of course there is have you been out to Highway 40? Follow That Dream Parkway, and did you see where it was filmed? Did you see where?
Down, it's in Ocala, right?
No, there was a bank scene, and that was in Ocala. Okay. The scene that's English Yankeetown going out Highway 40, which is now called Follow That Dream Highway, Boulevard, or whatever. You would go, English is right on 19 at the intersection. You turn left onto the highway, you go out just a little ways past Yankeetown, and there's a bridge, there's a small bridge, and you would look over to your right, and that's where they brought in tons of white sand and palm trees. Today, all of the sawgrass and marsh has grown back up, so it doesn't look anything at all like the beach scene when they filmed it. There's also a little house. If you're going down that highway, you turn by the bank to your right. That was the Wheel House, W-E-A-H-L, I believe. And I think the wood fence is still there. And there was a swing on the porch, and the little 2 twin boys were there. Now, and there's 2 other sites where they filmed. In Yankeetown, off to the left, there's a street called Pamela Drive, and it kind of goes through a canopy of oaks, and there was a scene there. And there was also this scene where he lifts the automobile over the log that's in the road. That's on US Highway 19 going north. You just go past the power plant on the left, and there's a street called Basswood. That's where that scene was done. And then there was a scene done across the street today where the attorney's offices are, and that was where the Kennedy hardware store is, and it's where Ann Helm goes in, and they go in to buy fishing tackle. Oh yeah. And then of course across the street, the theater that's across the street today, that was where they would go and watch tapes after a day's work or whatever. It doesn't look today like it did originally, because this theater, they made it look like a deco architecture, more like the theater in DeLand, the Athens Theater in DeLand. The original architecture of the theater that was over there was more a kind of a colonial revival style. Don't think big grand buildings, but just think more revival style architecture. And so here in this space, the building did not have central air conditioning in 1961. There were some window room air conditioner units, but it was very hot in here. The Flagstaff windows would kind of bump out. But even having said that, with all the film and the lighting from the film, it was still very hot, and he would have to change his clothes fairly often. And then everybody would have to go home at the end of the day, all the stand-ins for the audience, and they'd have to wash their clothes and come back the same day, because it was all kind of that one final courtroom scene. They did use this space over here, which was at one time the Board of County Commission meeting room. Today we have our artifacts in it. They used that to kind of gather and go over things. When he was here, he brought a dressing trailer with him, and that was over on the southeast side of the square. And they would go, and it had air conditioning, and they would go out there sometimes too. Back in 2011, we did we did a play called When Elvis Came to Town, and we got the idea after the what they had done in Monroeville, Alabama, with To Kill a Mockingbird. But we knew we couldn't do scenes from the movie because we had a very hard time even getting, we got permission from MGM Home Studios to take still copies of the VHS. When it first came out, it was the late 80s, early 90s. And we started restoration in the early, we started for grants in 92 and the restoration in 94. So we actually got those, took still photographs from the VHS, and that became our historic photographic documentation to bring the space back to the way it did originally. Because after the movie, they so greatly altered this space that the only thing that was original and still remaining after we demoed all the non-original fabric was the maple floors here over to there, and the structure, the perimeter of the space. Everything else from the railing here, the raised floor, the judge's bench, and that whole wall had been taken out. And everything back there, those two offices with the curved glass and the window by the door, that had all been taken out. They were trying to make more space out of the space they had as the county started to grow in the late 60s and 70s as a result of the power plant. But these were the original floors here, and the seats that would have been here would have been a wood veneered bottom and back, bolted to the floor with cast iron legs, and you can see some of the nails there. Now, when we did the play, when Elvis Came to Town, we knew we couldn't use the real movie, so we, we had some volunteers that went around and interviewed people who were still here from when Elvis was here. And they got those people's recollection, and one person did the oral history interviews, the other person, they together wrote the script for this play that we did in 2011, when it was 50 years old, 2012 and 13. The first 2 years we had, oh gosh, what is his name? Oh, you would know him if I told you. He's out of Orlando. He's married to a gal who is a anchor for Bay News 9.
Oh, Ted Torres.
Yeah, Ted.
Yeah.
Yes, how could I forget Ted?
I know.
So he did the play, and then what? No,
Nina.
He's not your favorite. Oh, okay. Well, everybody has favorites, right? That's okay. Let's see. Yes, that's, I'll leave it. And then the third year we had Cody Denell. And I know you all know him too.
Cody's local.
Yeah, Dunellen. He lives in Dunellen. And so he did it in 2013, I think. And then he was very young. He wasn't even out of high school yet. So he did it that 1 year. But ever since then, do you know Peter Alden?
Yes.
He's from the Orlando area. He's living in Venice right now. But
Italy?
No, Venice, Florida.
Oh,
we have a Venice, Florida too, down by south of Sarasota. And I just love Peter because he has a 5-octave range voice, and he's been doing it for a long time too. So he's really become our kind of Elvis. And usually we have him in the summertime, and we've tried to jolt that around between the big festival that's seems. Now it's the biggest year ever, right? Because it's a Elvis sanction, a Graceland sanction thing, right? And what, do they have to pay $10,000 to do that right off the bat? And so, we've tried.
Dwight Eisenhower is awesome too. He's from Orlando.
Yeah, I didn't know did he always live in Orlando? I thought he was from.
Originally from Ohio.
Okay,
Yes.
so he's in Orlando too? now?
Yes, awesome.
And then there's is there a Ben?
Ben Thompson.
I don't- Yeah, some Ben, I don't know Ben.
Do you know Ben? Ben?
Yes.
I know Thompson. I don't know any other.
Right.
Yeah.
There is another Ben, and I think he's from maybe Indiana, but he's not here this month. But, so we've always tried to, we used to have Pete in June before this event, and then we've had him in August. Next year, we're gonna go to January. We're gonna go to January. We really have to keep doing it because, this is where he made the movie. And unfortunately, we can't seat as many people as the auditorium, but I think this has a really a unique, special thing about it. And so we'll keep doing that. We tried to work with my predecessor tried to work with Graceland when we were trying to get images to recreate what the courtroom looked like, and we didn't have much success, and we just thought it was because they might be a little bit difficult, and it was when they were having a lot of changes in the management, I think, and I think they've gone through several management companies now, but come to find out, I'm pretty sure the reason that they weren't willing to work with us is because I don't think they had that many images from this time period. The film company had hired a photographer, and there was a photographer here the whole 6 weeks that he was here, taking photographs to use for promotional purposes later. But it wasn't until about 2013, this fellow over in England, ironically enough, David English, he wrote a book called Elvis Presley, the Summer of '61. Do you have a copy?
I want it.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're very expensive.
Hard to find.
Yeah, well, they only printed 2,000.
Very hard to
They
find.
only printed 2,000. And this David English, he scoured to the ends of the earth, and he found the photographer he didn't find the photographer, but he found someone in Cleveland, Mississippi, who had purchased the, I guess, negatives, or I suspect negatives. Somehow he came across the negatives from this photographer, and this David English found him, and that's how this David English was able to put together such a great book, was because he connected with this fellow out in Cleveland, Mississippi. This fellow not only had 2,000 images from the summer of '61 when Elvis was here, he also had another 20,000 item, photo, whatever, collection of memorabilia from Elvis's time period. We hope to someday get working with him so that we can do an exhibit just from those photographs, because they're so good. When David came over in 2013 from England, he brought a few copies on the plane. Everything else went to Graceland, and we were able to get one copy of the book. If you give me 1 second, I'll see if I can find. The book is downstairs, but I might have some things here about.
It's good.
Does anybody have any questions?